Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith, I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the United Kingdom, and today I thought I would do something with the fabulous Kindest Gnomes suite. This is a really lovely stamp, die and paper and assorted things, sort of real sort of suite, and it's got some fabulous paper that you can use the dies to cut out. So in this pack, in the stamp set, you've got these cute little gnomes, all of which can be cut out with the dies, and then in the paper, while it's available, I've only got four of the sheets available there. I'll go through the other. Oh, that's right, because the other ones have got the gnomes on, but they're double-sided. So on one side you've got some cute images, some more generic patterns on the reverse side, and you'll go through to autumn as well as sort of winter, and then you've got two sheets, one of which has got these lovely toadstools on, and the other one has got the little characters on, and let me show you those. Okay, so that's the one with the ones that you can die cut out or use the background, and then that's the sheet, as you can see there, which you can use to cut out these gorgeous little toadstool homes. But obviously once the paper's gone, I mean, that's, you know, the really sad thing is once paper's gone, you can't die cut them all. With this one you can, because you've got those stamps and images there. So that's the paper. Lots of beautiful colours in there, as I say, not just for Christmas, you could use those for autumn as well, and some fab sentiments, which is always good. And also in this suite, as well as the paper, you've got these gorgeous adhesive backed gems, and you can see there sort of the range of colours. So those kind of lovely calypso coral. Does it tell me what colours? It doesn't. Can't remember what colours are in there, but you can see sort of calypso coral stuff would go with any of our yellows. Lovely pool party through to night of navy, and then sort of mint macaron sort of colours in the bottom there. So those are the gems I've used, and you can see they just add hopefully a little bit of sparkle in there. And then I've also used, just on here, you can hopefully see a bit of dimension on the top of the two toadstools. I've used our puff. So this is the Snowfall Accents puff paint. Give it a good, it is quite liquid, so do be careful. Ask me how I know, because it splodged everywhere when I first used it. Yeah, and then you've got these dies that go together to make these other cute gnome. And I've just added our Best Label punch in there to make some little arms so that he could, I'm calling him a he with the beard, he could hold that little sentiment as well. And then this is just a false stepper card. So I'm just going to show you how to make that. And I just thought it sort of, you can just see it's like a 3D scene. And I've left the back blank so you can write a message on there if you wanted to. Obviously you could stamp and decorate that as well. So that's everything falling on the floor. So let's get started. So I'll put the measurements in the description bar below this, all being well, and all being well I will add to my blog. I'm doing a weekly roundup rather than posting more regularly on my blog. Just lots of stuff going on in my home life at the moment, which means that having a little bit less time to actually do my crafting, and also to do the writing up, which takes quite a bit of time as well. So I've already prepped a few bits and pieces. So to start off with then, our card. So I've done this card in UK cardstock in centimetres and inches. I'll be working in centimetres. As well as the UK inches, I will do a version that is fits the US cardstock. So you're slightly shorter card and it's slightly deeper. So yours are about 5.5 by 4.25, whereas ours are 5 3/4 by 4.25. So just, yeah, yours are 4.5. So to start off with then, let's stop the wittering and get on with it. So to start off with then, I've got a piece of cardstock that's 14.5 by 20 centimetres. So that's 5 3/4 by 4 inches, by 8 inches, and then just score that at 5, 10 and 15 centimetres, so 2, 4 and 6 inches, and that creates our card base. Now, as you know, and I have to say, and there's a couple of well-known demos who have copied this idea, I think, from me, or have had the same idea. I do a template using retired cardstock that I write all the dimensions on. So that just helps me have something to refer to later on as well. But there's our card base. You then want a piece of contrasting card, and this is 7 centimetres by 21, and you're just going to score that at 10.5. So in inches, that is 8 1/4 by 2 3/4 inches, and I've used just some Pool Party there, and the original was Pacific Point. You're then going to want a piece of cardstock for the back, which is 6 1/2 by 10 1/2. And you're going to want a piece for the front that's the same dimensions, 6 1/2 by 10 1/2. You then want a strip of DSP to go across the front of your card. Now you could cut 2 little pieces, but I just felt it was just easier to cut one that's 4 1/2 by 14.5 centimetres. And then what I have done is I've gone through and I've die cut my images from a whole sheet of paper. And you can see I've got lots and lots of characters here. So I'm just going to pick out a couple of gnomes to go on each side. Let's have a look. What names have we got? Here we go. There we go. A couple there. Actually, I might just choose one with slightly different colours. There we go. So that's, as you can see, you get lots and lots out of just one sheet of 12 by 12 that you've got all of those sort of characters, and you could really coordinate that with whatever colour you wanted. And then pop that one away. I'm not going to use that. And then all I'm doing is with this one house, little toadstool, I'm just kind of doing that, broadly lining it up at about 3 centimetres each side, and I'm just going to cut that in half, like so. So now you could obviously stamp and colour your images with Stampin' Blends, but for this one I'm just making Christmas cards. You have to do things as kind of fairly quickly, you know, if you're making a lot. And then I want 2 pieces of my DSP that are 3 by 7.5 centimetres. So I'm just going to cut this at 6 centimetres. I'm going to trim it down to 7.5 and then trim it again at 3 centimetres. Here we go. And then the last bit I need to do, which I've forgotten to get some card out for, is to create my 2 side panels. So I'm actually going to grab, what colour am I going to grab? Let's grab some card, other colour that would coordinate. So you want 2 pieces that are 2 pieces which are 7.5 by 3.5. So yeah, so I'm going to cut that to 7 centimetres. Rather, I'm going to cut that to 7.5 centimetres, and then I'm going to cut a piece that is 3.5. In fact, if I cut this to 7 centimetres, let me just get one. That's 3.5. And I want a second piece as well. Perhaps been a, there we go. So just cut that at 3.5. By 7.5. So 3.5 by 7.5, and you need 2 of those. I'm going to keep that scrap for my sentiment. And my sentiment I'm just going to stamp that on a scrap of some basic white that I happen to have. Difficulty always with this is going to be getting it straight. I'm going to go for the Night of Navy, I think, for this. And all I'm going to do is ink that sentiment up and try and get that. Not bad. Okay, I think that's about the straightest one I've done all day. So allow that to dry a little bit. And while that's drying, I'm just going to add my layers onto here. So I'm just going to use, as it happens, some old snail, but if you've got seal, that would be perfect. And on these pieces, these panels, because they're flat, I'm more than happy to use just standard seal. On the ones that, and any part that's moving, or on the main parts, I'll be using Seal Plus, because I want to make sure that that doesn't move. And it's obviously, when I say it doesn't move, so it doesn't come apart. Anything where there's movement, I like to use a stronger adhesive. So again, so this is my centre panel, so I'm just going to add these two pieces on. Now, to actually construct our card, so if you take this piece and lay it out, we've got our 3 pieces to go on the front. We want to add our DSP across the front there first. So I'm just going to add that piece, like so. And then these 2 pieces, as I said, I'm just going to grab my Seal Plus, and I'm just putting some adhesive and just on the wrong bit. And you want to make sure you don't come up much above halfway. So just pop that in there and just layer that up just a tiny bit off the bottom and line it up on the side. Do the same on our other piece. So come in here, just a fraction in, so there's a hint of a layer, and that creates our little piece, and that's where we're going to put our 2 little houses. And I'm just going to add those there, create our little scene. And you can see that's starting to come together now. And then what we want to do is add our centre panel to the middle here. So again, so we're going to add our seal and just make sure we come just on that bottom section. So I'm going to line it up with the bottom and in between those 2 panels, like so. Flip it over, and then here you can actually add it straight to the card and fold like so. So now we're going to add our couple of little characters just with some dimensionals on the back there. And what I did with these was I used my mini dimensionals on the feet at the bottom, and because they poke up a little bit, I just, as I say again, just come about halfway up like so. Just make sure they're well supported, and I'm just going to pop one in the middle at the top rather than trying to judge where the top of their hat is. Much better to pop it on the card in the middle. My puppy just come up to see what I'm up to. My son's come home, and as I let him out of his bed area, because usually he sleeps downstairs while I'm working, So he's come up to have a good explore around, and I've got a hard floor in here, so you can hear him. Well, you may or may not be able to hear him clattering. So just take those backings off. Now obviously you don't have to use all that dimension if you don't want to. If you're posting this card, you may want to keep it a bit flatter, because obviously there's a few layers. You can see that's coming together there. So now we want to create our little banner. So I'm just going to snip off the end there, and I'm just going to add a bit of embossing buddy there, just to make sure I don't get it stuck everywhere, seeing as I've managed to make a mess. And then you can just pop that in like so, and then just trim round by hand to create a border. So that's my nice sentiment for the front. And now what I want to do is actually create my little character. So I've got a scrap of some Coastal Cabana, and I'm using the dies from this. So in here you've got this lovely beard die, you've got a couple of little ovals hair, a little hat and some feet. So these are the dies that we're going to be using. I pop those out just to show you. So from those you want, or rather I cut one beard, one hat, and then we want to cut 3 of these and a set of feet. So a set of feet which is soft suede. So these were cut just out of some scraps of, I used Petal Pink, but you could obviously use Blushing Bride as well, depending on those. I chose the Petal Pink because of the kind of peachy tones that you've got in the paper itself. As you can see here, we've got quite peachy tones. So you just want 3 of those. Here we go, I've actually obviously got 4 of those. Put those to one side, and what I want to do is just punch a couple of the best labels as well, like so. And that's the one that goes with the Alpha Best die. So just flip those over, and then on the end I'm just using a little fine tip dispenser here just to make it a little easier for me. And you're just going to put one of each of those on the end to make a little hand. I'm going to add some adhesive to the beard at the bottom here and pop that on my feet. Adding a little adhesive to another one of these, that's it, the nose. And then if you flip that, you'll see just up here there's almost a couple of little guidance lines on the side as well. So I've added a little bit to the centre there for the nose, just to help mean it's sort of manoeuvrable. And you'll see that I can then just line those up on there. So there is my little character. What you can do with this is just position where you want the arms to be. And I kind of have them coming out either side there, so just below. So if you pop, again, a bit of adhesive down each side, like that. Don't do what I've done and get glue everywhere. And I'm just adding those on the side. I've obviously made that sign a little bit bigger on this one. Just add some dimensionals across the middle section of that, and you can manoeuvre while it's wet. The beauty of using the wet glue there is that you can manoeuvre that like so. And then best thing to do is to flip it over, and then you can use dimensionals on the back to kind of cover those joins. So I kind of want a dimensional at the top, want one each on the feet to support it. Certainly want a couple up the middle there. And I'm just going to pop, I've used large dimensionals, but I've just found them. Yeah, so if you use a large dimensional, that will then hold that in place as well. So all that remains is to take the backs off those. Obviously I've got a spare nose or hand for next time. Dimensionals off, and we can pop our little gnome in the middle there. Grab your take your pick tool and just add a couple of sparkles. I'm just going to use the stuff. Just add 3 of those on the side there. And there we have our fun false stepper card without all that cutting and measuring. Really easy. On this one, as I say, I've used the puff paint. I didn't on this one because I forgot. So there we go. So enjoy, have fun creating, and please click the subscribe button on my videos. It makes all the difference, and if you've liked it, please do click on the like button as well, as that helps me to carry on providing these videos for you. Thanks for watching. Come back soon. Bye now.